Hello everyone, welcome to this channel. It's me, Nandini Devi, the Shakti Guru, and we're gonna do some astro space news, intuitive astrology. And right now Jupiter and Aries are paired up, and we just entered Gemini season, just for some idea of where we're at and what you will be looking at. Also Venus is in Aries and it's gonna move into Taurus. And Mars also is going to be in Aries for a little bit. So there's a lot of Aries energy during a time of Gemini energy, and Gemini is Mercury, Aries is Mars, and those are two very different elements. We have air and we have fire, and I like to think about things in an alchemical way. Also, if you'll notice, I'm just gonna be very transparent out there with it. I'm a little fucking tired today, okay? I'm allowed to say that. I'm allowed to say that. It's my channel. I'm tired, and I just wanted to really bring that into the space and say, not everything right now has to be presented in this very formal, digested way for everyone. Aries doesn't really rock with that. Aries is like starting things new. Like, the new vibe is like, just because I show up like this doesn't mean I don't care about my work, doesn't mean that I don't care about you, doesn't mean that I don't care about spirit. It's just really being human. This is what being human looks like. There's no filter on my face, there's no makeup on my face. I'm not gonna be like screaming and theatrical for you. If you want to show up, you show up. If you don't want to show up, you don't show up, and that's good enough. My energy is potent and my guides are bomb. So it is what it is. And I'm going to bring that in here because I think this is part of what this Aries energy in Jupiter is. Jupiter is the planet of teachings. It's a teacherly planet. It's not like Saturn, where Saturn can be a little bit more hard-hitting, definitive, really holding you accountable. Jupiter is more like, let's nourish and nurture and create the room for these things to grow. And how are things going to grow for you? Are they going to grow with somebody on your ass trying to get you to do this, that, or the other? Or are they going to grow from like the nurturing environments that your guides are bringing you towards, that are going to help you to foster that growth, that transformation, or that change, or that success, or whatever it is, that relationship, whatever it is that you're trying to have in your life? How can you have those things in alignment with spirit right now and the planets? So Gemini, Mercury. Gemini is a sign of communication and intellectual pursuits and intellectualism. It's also a very communicative sign, so people always look at Gemini as like the chatty ones and all this. But all Mercury people are gonna have that, and then also air energies generally have a way of communicating that people like to, throw a little shade about. But let me tell you, Gemini is the space that you'll end up at, right, in your journey through the stars every year. So every year, no matter what your sign is, you're going to be in Gemini energy. And the thing about Geminis is that they've been there all year. So they get to have the front row on what this energy is about. They've been getting to know this energy their whole life so far. So those jabs you might want to take at a sign, when it's that sign's time of the year, they have all the knowledge. And so you might want to check in with your Gemini friends, okay? Because they know what's up. So during this time, some people, depending on what your predominant energies are, right? So look at your chart. If you haven't looked at your chart, reach out for a reading, or hit up an astrologer, somebody you trust, or go on your own little excursion and search online where you can find your chart and learn about each chart, learn about the elements associated with each sign, because it matters. Alchemy matters. The alchemical makeup matters. So let's say you mostly have fire in your chart, and now you're going to have a bunch of stuff in fire, and then in air, the sun energy is in air, and then we have a bunch of fire. Think about how that's going to fit for you. Maybe it's going to fit really nice. If you have earth, maybe this is a time that's going to inspire you. It's going to kind of kick your butt a little bit to go do something that you haven't been wanting to do, or you didn't want to finish, or whatever. And to put that all up into Mercury retrograde, which we're still in Mercury retrograde. It doesn't end until, I think, June 10th or something like that. Around that time, you can look up those dates. Also, this is a space of intuitive astrology. I'm not going to give you hardcore dates right now. So You're gonna have to go do that somewhere else. And you can. We have the internet. Yay us. So there's something about I think it was Alice Sparkly Cat. And they have a website and they have Patreon and they have Instagram and all that stuff. You could check out their information. I think it was them who said this is a really good time to like at least keep one thing to yourself because of the Jupiter Aries energy. So that really has been like floating around in my head because I don't necessarily always overshare, but sometimes when I do, I can kind of notice, especially if you're on a spiritual journey, there are some things that just you can't. Like, it's fine if you're oversharing about your life and your stuff and whatever, who cares? Like, whatever, you know what I mean? Like, no need to shame yourself or punish yourself or police yourself. We're kind of killing all those constructs right now, so deuces to that. But this is about like, you know, when you are carrying a spiritual lineage, or you are doing very specific kind of work, or you are trying to cultivate something, like, you know, a really good mentor, friend, person, strong soul type of mine has told me, like, if you're gonna plant a seed on the ground, don't go digging it up before it grows. And that's what talking about your manifestations and your intentions can be like. And this is one of those times where it really gets tested, you know, like, and I don't like that. Even saying that out loud, I'm like, why am I saying that? But it's true. If something, you hold something dear to your heart, it doesn't mean that you can't tell anybody, but it means that, like, you got to be mindful about who you're telling stuff to. Like, you know, and if you don't really know and you're questioning this, like, oh, better safe than sorry, chill, because there will be times where you can share openly and you'll know, you'll be prompted, it'll be spirited. And this could be one of those times as well. When Mercury retrograde happens, and let's say you've been holding on to something, look at how your personality is, look at what you're prone to. If you're usually the kind of person that is like not sharing about things and not putting things out there, then this might be a time where you have been holding on to something and now you need to just let it out. Don't gatekeep it, don't, you know, whatever. That's another thing, because that's a flip side of this. Mercury retrograde with Gemini season is like, what haven't you spoken about? What's up in here? What's all going on in here that you could be sharing with other people? And then Jupiter Aries, what are you initiating? What are you beginning? What are you sharing with others? What are you sparking in others? What are they sparking in you? What are you learning all over again or for the first time? You know, sorry, I gotta open my window, it's so hot in here. You saw me try to do that, right? Okay, just gonna like not edit that out and be hot right now. Okay, so yes, whatever it is that you're initiating in, or, you know, starting for the first time, or not for the first time, but like beginning to do at this time, could really be connected to that. You know what, I'm gonna fucking open this window, I don't give a shit. Hold on. I did it. It happened. Okay. Yes, Jupiter Aries, beginning things, initiations. You might be getting spiritual initiations. This could be something that you're consciously aware of, right? Like, it's a very traditional style initiation, or it could be something where you're getting a teacher or a new mentor or a new person in your life who's mentoring you and helping you, sparking things, initiating you. But the thing is that it might be a little unconventional, because Aries is not about conventionalities. It's not about, is conventionality a word? We'll keep it. We're gonna use it, we'll keep it. It's about things being new and like trying it different and like breaking some rules and like making up rules, you know, along the way. And it's the space and the time to kind of be free. And Gemini kind of has that energy too. Gemini does have a little bit of that Aries energy of the air signs, right? Because Gemini does break through conventions and could have that I don't give a shit attitude, which is sometimes necessary for success, right? It's like, why? I'm not going to think about what this other person wants. And even if something is bothering, Gemini can often like process it through speaking it out, clearing it out, just not caring, just being like, I'm out, unless there's a lot of water dominant in your chart. If you're a Gemini with a lot of Cancer, you're not running from anything. You're not. You're just not running from anything. You're just gonna, you have to be there. You have to be there with it. I'm sorry. But basically right now, you know, with Aries Venus as well, like you could feel like you want to like throw yourself into something or someone that you love. Like you could be really spirited, you could be like sexually charged, because the Aries has a lot of sexual energy. Channel it to what you really want. If you're putting your energy towards something that you don't really want to manifest, you know, you don't have to be too worried about it right now, because Aries is at the beginning, so it's not about rooting anything down. Have fun, explore, play, be a little baddie, like, you know, do your thing and try it out, see how it feels. As long as you're being safe and everybody's consenting, why not, right? And then with Mercury retrograde and Pluto retrograde, we're still in Pluto retrograde. I had made a video about that the last time I made a astro report, a space news video. I talked about Pluto retrograde, but we're still in that, and it's going to be happening until October 28th, 2022. So now we have these two retrogrades that have overlapped while we're changing seasons. And so what a season is an experience that we're all having collectively. It's an outward experience. A retrograde is happening around all of us, but retrogrades tend to have an inner energy to them. There's a time of reflection. There's a time of going in, or like reflecting back, or processing something. So now we are being kind of like, you know, turned inward in Mercury, and then outward as well, because the sun is also in touch with Mercury because of Gemini season. So now we have an outward and inward energy of Mercury. So I would really suggest you to look at your relationship with Mercury. Like Mercury rules over communication, technology, movement, you know, like moving forward in your life, you know. What's your relationship to Mercury, and where is there Mercury in your chart? Where do you have Virgo? Where do you have Gemini? And how those things are going to shine for you right now, what's going to come up here, so that you're not blindsided by what you're experiencing. Number one of everything that you watch here on this channel, anywhere else, I know there's a lot of popular astrologers that are like, do this, don't do that. People, humans like you, have been connecting to the stars since the beginning of time. Okay, it wasn't just people who documented this research. Okay, the first like astronomers were in Africa, connecting to stars without the technology that we have today. I mean, connecting to the stars. I really mean it. Not in some just spiritual way, like in an astronomer based way. So there was some type of technology. It's not as advanced as we have now, and they were still able to connect to the stars. And there was meditation, and there was spiritual practice as well. There was an inner knowing. There was inner wisdom. And all of that has funneled into all of our bodies throughout time and space, because we're all descendants of the same ancestors on this planet, the human ancestors. And then also at that, we also all connect to the stars in the sky in some way or another. If you're thinking about astrology, or you're even like contemplating or joking about it, or watching astro memes, something is being sparked in you. So in your journey about watching all these things and listening to people, I encourage you to trust yourself as well, because this information might not be what you need to hear right now. It might be something that comes along 5 years from now, 10 years from now. I find myself reflecting on things when they need to come through. You don't have to worry about it right now if it doesn't resonate for you. When it needs to come through, it will. Okay? And also, sometimes as healers and teachers, we're here to play that mirror to something that's inside of you that wants to come up, or just to inspire you to search for yourself what you think the answers really are. Don't take everything that I'm saying or anyone's saying and just take what you need and really see what resonates for you. And you can do that by tuning in through your own inner guidance. That means meditating, praying, and getting in touch with your guides. The stronger your connection is to yourself and your guides, the information that needs to come from the outside world will have to be filtered through your psychic boundary that you have with your guides, so that you're not absorbing just this and that. Sometimes when I get agitated by something, it's because I'm trying to take in something. It may not be for me, or it's something that I'm not ready for. And I had to discern what that is, okay? We're all on our own different journeys, and we're here to support each other and uplift each other, not police how we're going to engage with the stars, okay? The stars are for everybody, not just people who call themselves astrologers. I just want to put that out there because Jupiter Aries is really giving that initiatory energy, that I don't give a shit energy, that I'm going to start a new thing energy. Be bold, be brave, and bring forward into this earth what you have inside of you. And it doesn't mean you have to go and share it with everybody today, because it's the beginning, right? Jupiter Aries is the beginning. What you come up with now, what's born inside of you, what's been initiated in you may not come around until Jupiter has moved through more signs, and it has gone through certain signs that are more tangible, that make things more grounded. Okay, so Jupiter in Taurus is more grounded than Jupiter in Aries, right? Jupiter in Taurus is like, all right, I'm cool. I'm ready to share this with somebody else. I'm ready to share with my inner circle, right? Because Taurus rules over family, the familial connection. You know, it's more grounded. It's an earth sign, right? So depending on where you are in that journey, just allow what needs to come up and notice it. This could be a time of you just witnessing yourself. It's not about having to harness and do anything with this power yet and this connection to the stars. Sometimes we're in a part of our journey where we're just noticing how we act when these things are passing through. Look at how I react when Gemini and the sun is in Gemini. Look at how I am feeling and thinking when Mercury is in retrograde in Gemini. You know, so I'm starting to become more self-aware, and that's essentially what we can do here. Part of decolonizing ourselves, right? A lot of people have been using that word. Part of decolonizing ourselves is actually becoming more and more self-aware, because as we become more self-aware, not to punish and police and shame ourselves again, but it's to like get in touch with our patterns, and then we can be mindful of as they come up. And we're still going to act a certain way in certain company and certain situations, and then have to reflect on that later before we can really change a behavior. So be gentle with yourself as you learn new tools, unlearn things that we did learn before that we no longer need. And this is a really great time to like break out of some of that. Now, in terms of the chatty part that you can use, okay, is if you have stuff that you really have been holding on to, like I said earlier, that you haven't shared, share it with somebody. If you know that it's time for you to show what you've been holding on to, your art, your wisdom, you know, maybe your feelings towards somebody, because we also have Venus Aries happening, right? It's like, whatever it is that needs to come forward, trust your inner instinct and pray to be protected, and you will be. Okay, so that's all I'm going to share for today. Thank you for tuning in, and tuning in again soon for another episode of Space News. Take care.